The sky over the Forbidden Zone glowed with an eerie green light, unlike anything Earth had ever seen. No human ship was supposed to be here. For decades, the area had been marked as completely off-limits. Sensors had recorded strange energy surges, unexplained disappearances, and faint signals of unknown origin, but nothing alive, until now. A single blip appeared on the monitoring screens of Earth's Space Command. It was moving steadily, almost purposefully, cutting through the dense asteroid fields like it had done this 1,000 times before. Lieutenant Kara Voss leaned forward in disbelief, her fingers trembling slightly over the control panel. That shouldn't be possible, she muttered. Every protocol, every rule, every history log said no human ship should exist in the Forbidden Zone. Yet the screen showed a sleek, silver vessel gliding calmly, as if it belonged there. Commander Hale entered the room, his brow furrowed. "What is it, Kara?" She gestured at the screen. "A human ship, sir. But it's not in any of our records. Its design. I've never seen anything like it. And no identification signal. Nothing." Hale's eyes narrowed. He had been in the command room for decades and had seen things humanity had barely begun to understand. Yet even he felt a chill crawl up his spine. "Prepare a reconnaissance team," he ordered. "We need to know what is out there." Meanwhile, on the ship itself, no one stirred. The control room was empty, yet the ship moved with perfect precision. Lights flickered across the consoles, casting shadows along the curved walls. The engines hummed a low, steady rhythm, almost like the heartbeat of a living being. Outside, meteors streaked past, ignored by the silent vessel. Back at the command center, Kara initiated a tracking protocol, trying to establish a communication link. Every attempt failed. "No response," she said, frustration creeping into her voice. "It's as if it's avoiding us. Or it doesn't know we exist," Hale said quietly, staring at the monitor. The ship moved closer to the center of the Forbidden Zone, a place where even the most advanced Earth sensors could barely penetrate. Radar readings spiked, alarms rang, and static filled the communication lines. Kara's hands flew across the keyboard. "Energy readings are off the charts. I don't understand it. This ship, it's powered by something unknown. Something huge." In the observation bay, the team gathered around the massive viewport. The Forbidden Zone stretched endlessly before them, a turbulent field of dark clouds, electric storms, and shimmering light. And through it moved the mysterious ship, calm and deliberate. "Is it human?" asked one of the junior officers. "Yes," Hale replied, his voice tense. "But not like anything we have. If it's human, it's from the future, or from somewhere we don't know." Suddenly, the ship changed direction, heading straight toward a massive storm cluster. Sensors screamed, warning of impossible gravitational fluctuations. The team held their breath. Every theory about the Forbidden Zone now collided with reality. Nothing should survive here. Yet, the ship passed through the storm like it was nothing, leaving a trail of blue sparks in its wake. Kara's mind raced. If it keeps going like this, it could reach the heart of the zone. And if it does, we might never see it again. Or, worse. She didn't finish her sentence. Hale turned to her, his expression grim. "Then we follow. But carefully. We don't know what's waiting there. And we don't know what it wants." As the team prepared the pursuit, alarms suddenly blared across the command center. A strange signal appeared on the monitors, a pattern, almost like a message, but in no human language. The room went silent. Kara leaned closer. "It's trying to communicate. But I can't read it. No one can." For a moment, everything paused. The mysterious ship, the Forbidden Zone, the strange signals, they all seemed to hold their breath. Then, without warning, the ship accelerated. Its lights blinked once, twice, and then a wave of energy rippled across the observation screens, knocking out power in half the command center. Emergency lights flickered. Kara blinked, trying to process what had just happened. It just did something. Something impossible. The readings, they're gone. All of them. It's like it erased its existence. Hale's jaw tightened. Then we're officially dealing with something beyond our understanding. Prepare the fastest ships we have. If it's human, if it's really human, we have questions that need answers. And we'll follow it, wherever it goes. Outside, the silver vessel drifted into the heart of the forbidden zone, silent and unstoppable, as if it had been waiting for someone, or something, to find it. The storm roared around it, but it moved on, a ghost of the human race, carrying secrets that no one alive could guess. And somewhere deep inside the ship, a console flickered to life. A single message appeared, glowing softly in alien script. Then it switched to a human language, clear, cold, and simple. They are not ready. Proceed with caution. Kara's eyes widened. Who? Who is not ready? The forbidden zone swallowed the ship and its secrets, leaving only one truth behind. Humanity had no idea what they had just discovered, and whatever it was, it had already been waiting for them. The forbidden zone stretched endlessly, a chaotic mix of storms, glowing clouds, and gravitational anomalies. The silver ship that had appeared without warning continued to drift deeper, its engines humming softly like a living pulse. On Earth's Space Command, the team was frantic. Every attempt to track or communicate with it had failed, and now the zone itself seemed to fight their sensors, scrambling signals and readings. Lieutenant Kara Voss paced the control room, her eyes fixed on the blank monitors. She had never felt such a mix of fear and curiosity. "It's like it's alive," she whispered. "Like it's choosing what we see and what we don't." Commander Hale stood behind her, silent. His mind raced, imagining all the possibilities. "Or someone, or something, is controlling it," he said finally. "And whatever it is, it doesn't want us to follow." Outside, the mysterious ship glided closer to a massive energy storm. Lightning arcs danced around it, threatening to tear apart anything that entered. Meteors collided with each other in slow-motion collisions, yet the vessel moved as if nothing existed. Its silver hull shimmered, reflecting the storm's green and purple lights. On the bridge of the fastest human reconnaissance ship, Captain Rena Vallis gripped the controls tightly. "We're going in," she said, her voice steady but low. "We need to see this ship up close. We need answers." The engines roared, cutting through space debris as the team followed the mysterious vessel. Sensors went haywire almost immediately. Readings jumped and disappeared, stars blinked in and out, and strange static filled the communication lines. Rena's stomach churned, but she didn't stop. Something about this ship demanded attention, demanded answers, even if no one fully understood the danger. Inside the mysterious ship, a faint light pulsed from the center of the control room. The console screens, which had been dark since it appeared, suddenly flickered to life. Strange symbols scrolled rapidly, almost unreadable. Then, a single phrase appeared in clear human language: "The Watchers are near. Do not reveal yet." Somewhere deep within Space Command, Kara read the transmission and froze. Watchers? Who is watching? And why does it speak to no one here but somehow to itself? Hale stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "Whatever it is, it's advanced. Far beyond us. And if it's human, we're not ready to meet its kind." As they spoke, alarms blared on Rena's ship. A wave of energy had just passed through, pushing the small ship off course. Rena's hands flew over the controls, struggling to stabilize the vessel. It's controlling the space around it," she shouted. "Like gravity itself bends around it." Kara's fingers danced over the console. "It's reading everything. Our movements, our signals, maybe even our thoughts. Whatever this ship is, it's alive in a way we don't understand." The silver ship slowed near the heart of the forbidden zone, hovering above a massive black chasm. Electric storms formed above it, dancing like green fire. The ship's hull opened slightly, revealing a narrow corridor of blue light that seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. Rena's team hesitated. "Do we approach?" one of her officers asked nervously. Captain Vallis swallowed hard. "We have to. We can't let it disappear again." Humanity deserves to know what's out here. The ship responded almost immediately. The blue light widened, forming a path into the storm itself. It was an invitation, or perhaps a challenge. The team exchanged uneasy glances, but Rena nodded. "We go in," she said. Inside the mysterious vessel, the atmosphere was strange but not hostile. The walls glowed faintly, casting shadows that moved independently. The consoles flashed rapidly, yet no human hand had touched them. The ship seemed to breathe, to think. And somewhere deep inside, a hidden mechanism activated, a series of soft clicks, like the opening of a lock, though no one was there to unlock it. Outside, on Space Command, Kara's monitor flickered. The storm had intensified suddenly. Meteors collided violently, and the strange energy readings spiked beyond any recorded scale. Yet the mysterious ship moved calmly, almost knowingly. Kara shivered. "It's waiting for something," she said softly. "Or someone." Hale's eyes were cold with determination. "Then we follow. But cautiously. One wrong step, and we could lose everything." As the human reconnaissance team entered the blue corridor, their sensors went dark. The storm swallowed them, leaving only the eerie hum of the mysterious ship. And deep inside, a voice, mechanical but unmistakably human, spoke, echoing through the empty corridors. "Prepare them. They are not ready. But they will come." A pause. Then, faintly, almost like a whisper, "And we will decide their fate." The team froze. The Forbidden Zone had never felt more alive, more dangerous, more conscious. And the silver ship, moving like a ghost among storms and meteors, carried secrets that humanity might never be ready to face. The blue corridor inside the silver ship stretched endlessly, glowing faintly with a soft hum that resonated in every bone. Captain Rena Vallis and her team stepped cautiously, their boots clicking against a smooth, metallic floor. Every step echoed, but no one else was there. It was silent, yet it felt alive. The walls pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat, and shadows shifted as if watching them. "Keep your eyes open," Rena whispered. Her voice was calm, but inside, adrenaline surged. Something isn't right. Lieutenant Jax, the youngest member of the crew, shivered. "It's too quiet. Too perfect. Like the ship is waiting for us." Rena didn't answer. She kept moving, following the faint blue light that seemed to lead somewhere. Every now and then, panels flickered on the walls, showing brief flashes of strange symbols and images, humans in spacesuits that didn't look like Earth's, alien landscapes, and ships unlike anything humanity had built. They appeared for only a second before disappearing again. Meanwhile, back at Earth Space Command, Kara Voss stared at the blank monitors. "We're losing them," she said quietly. "They've entered the ship, and we can't track anything. It's like the ship erased them from existence." Commander Hale's jaw tightened. "Or it's testing them," he said. "Testing what?" "I don't know, but something is controlling it." Inside the ship, the team reached a massive chamber. The walls curved high above, forming a dome of light. At the center floated a holographic map, showing stars, planets, and countless routes through space. Yet what caught their attention was a small, blinking point in the Forbidden Zone, their ship. A red light blinked next to it, accompanied by a simple message: "Humans detected. Prepare." Rena stepped closer, her eyes wide. "Prepare for what?" she asked aloud. Her voice sounded tiny against the vast chamber. Suddenly, the ship pulsed, and the holographic map dissolved into a swirl of lights. The team stumbled, gripping the floor as the walls seemed to shift around them. The air vibrated with low-frequency hums. Every instrument they carried went haywire. Electronic devices flashed, and communications with their own ship became impossible. Jax stumbled backward. "Captain, it's alive. I mean, really alive." "Quiet," Rena snapped, though her heart pounded. "We're here to observe, not panic. Just follow me." At the edge of the chamber, they found a series of platforms that led to a central console. Lights blinked, showing sequences that made no sense to human eyes. Symbols moved, reorganizing themselves into patterns, almost like a language. Rena reached out, touching the nearest console. The lights flared, and suddenly a human-like figure appeared before them, a hologram, pale and ethereal, but undeniably human. The team froze. The figure's eyes glowed faintly blue, and it spoke in a calm, measured voice. "You are not ready." Rena stepped forward. "Who are you? What is this place?" The figure's gaze shifted slightly, as if studying them. "This ship is older than your records. Humanity sent it into the stars long before your history began. We monitor. We observe. You were not meant to find this. Yet here you are." Jax whispered. "It says, we monitor." "Who is we?" The hologram's eyes seemed to pierce every corner of the chamber. "The Watchers. Those who came before you. Those who guided humanity from the shadows. Your kind is curious, brave, reckless, yet still unprepared for the truths of the stars." Rena swallowed hard. "Why are you showing us this? Why now?" The figure paused, then gestured toward the holographic map. "Because you entered the forbidden zone. You crossed a line no human should. And now, the test begins." Suddenly, alarms blared inside the ship. Lights flashed violently, and the floor trembled. The team struggled to stay upright as the room around them seemed to twist, folding space itself. The hologram's voice echoed over the chaos. "Prove your worth. Survive. Or be lost." Outside, Earth's command center detected a massive energy spike. Kara's fingers flew over the console. "Commander, the energy readings, they're off the charts. It's unlike anything we've ever seen." Hale clenched his fists. "Then we wait, and hope our people inside that ship can survive whatever is coming." Back in the ship, the team braced themselves. The walls shifted, corridors twisted, and the air thickened with strange energy. The silver vessel was no longer just a ship. It was a test, a living entity, and humanity had walked right into its heart. The hologram's voice lingered in their minds. "The Watchers are patient, but patience is not infinite. Prove yourselves, or vanish from history." And as the team stared into the swirling chaos around them, they realized the truth. They had discovered a secret older than humanity itself, and survival would demand more than courage. It would demand answers that no one alive could yet give. The walls of the mysterious ship twisted and shifted, forming corridors that seemed impossible. Captain Rena Vallis and her team stumbled forward, trying to keep their balance as the floor trembled beneath them. Every turn brought new challenges. Some paths ended abruptly, dropping into empty space, while others twisted back upon themselves, making them question whether they were moving at all. Jax gripped Rena's arm. "Captain, I don't understand. How is this even real? The walls, they move on their own." Rena's eyes were sharp, scanning every shadow. "It's not just a ship. It's alive. And it's testing us. We need to stay focused." Ahead, a glowing archway pulsed, and through it, they could see another chamber. This one was different. The walls were covered in strange carvings, depicting human-like figures alongside enormous stars, glowing planets, and ships that looked far more advanced than anything Earth had built. The carvings seemed to move, almost like a story being told in real time. As they stepped into the chamber, the holographic figure appeared again. "You survived the first trials," it said, its voice calm yet heavy with authority. "But the true test is not your courage, it is your understanding. Humanity has forgotten its origin, its reach. You must see what came before you." Rena frowned. "What do you mean, before us?" The hologram gestured, and the carvings shifted into glowing images, showing scenes of humans on alien planets, building cities and ships far beyond current technology. "Long before your recorded history, humanity spread across the stars. We left records, we guided your ancestors, yet knowledge was lost. You were meant to discover this later, when ready. Yet your arrival demands the truth now." Jax whispered. This changes everything. All we know is wrong." The room shook suddenly, and a wave of energy blasted through them. The lights flickered, and strange shadows moved across the walls, forming humanoid shapes. The ship's hum grew louder, like a living creature awakening fully. The hologram's voice echoed, "To continue, you must prove your mind and your will. The Watchers observe. Do not falter." Rena glanced at her team. "We need to move forward. Every step is a test. Every decision matters." They proceeded into another corridor, and suddenly, the path split into 3. Each passage glowed with a different color: red, blue, and green. The energy readings spiked differently in each. Jax pointed to the red corridor. "Which one?" I don't think it's random." Rena took a deep breath. "We have to choose wisely. Watch the signals. The ship, it responds to us. It wants us to think, to reason, not just rush." As they debated, the green corridor pulsed violently, sending a wave of energy that pushed them back. Sparks flew from their equipment. "It's dangerous," Jax shouted. Rena nodded. "Then it's probably not the right way. That leaves red or blue. We have to decide." Before they could make a choice, the ship itself seemed to intervene. A section of the floor rose, creating a bridge over a swirling void below. The bridge led directly to the red corridor, as if the ship itself guided them. The team crossed carefully, the void below glowing with strange, blue light. Every step made their hearts pound. When they reached the next chamber, they found a massive console floating in mid-air, pulsing with energy. Symbols and charts appeared, showing not only stars and planets but movements of civilizations, records of battles, and data from far beyond Earth's reach. Rena stepped forward. This is incredible. It's like, the ship is showing us everything. The history we lost." Suddenly, the hologram appeared above the console, its form sharper, more defined. "You see the scope of human potential. You see what was forgotten. But to truly understand, you must act. A test of survival awaits outside, where only the brave or the wise may pass." Jax gulped. "Outside? You mean, the storm? The heart of the Forbidden Zone?" The ship pulsed violently, shaking the chamber. "Yes. You must leave this vessel and navigate the storm beyond. Only then will the Watchers judge your worth." Rena's mind raced. So all this, the ship, the corridors, the lessons, it's been preparing us for the real test. And if we fail? The hologram's eyes glowed, and the voice was firm. "Then humanity will not yet know its past. Only those who endure will inherit the knowledge." The chamber doors opened, revealing the storm outside, the swirling chaos of the Forbidden Zone, filled with lightning, meteors, and waves of energy that defied reason. The silver ship hovered at the edge, a beacon in the violent storm. Rena looked at her team. "This is it. Whatever happens next, we survive together. Or not at all." Jax swallowed hard, gripping his gear. "I hope we're ready." The Forbidden Zone roared, a living, angry entity of light and energy. The silver ship pulsed once, as if daring them to step into the storm. The Watcher's message echoed in their minds: "Prove yourselves, or vanish from history." And with that, they stepped forward, leaving the safety of the corridors and entering the storm that could end their lives, or reveal secrets humanity had never imagined. The storm outside the silver ship roared like a living creature. Lightning danced through the clouds in strange, twisting patterns, and enormous energy waves rippled through space. Captain Rena Vallis and her team stood at the edge of the glowing doorway, staring into the chaos that waited for them. Jax's voice trembled. "Captain, we'll die out there. No ship can survive that." Rena took a deep breath, her face calm but her eyes full of determination. "We don't have a choice. The Watchers want proof. And if this storm is their test, we'll face it head-on." They stepped out together. The instant they entered the storm, everything went silent for a heartbeat, and then the chaos swallowed them. Their ship was pulled violently by invisible forces. Colors twisted, and space itself seemed to stretch and fold. "Stabilize the thrusters," Rena shouted, gripping the control console. Sparks flew around her as the engines screamed. Jack struggled with the navigation screen, which flickered uncontrollably. "I can't get a reading," he yelled. "It's like the laws of physics don't work here." Suddenly, the storm shifted. The blinding lights formed patterns, shapes that almost looked like eyes watching them. Rena felt her heart skip a beat. The Watchers. They were observing, testing, measuring every reaction. A deep, resonant voice echoed through the comms, though no source could be traced. "Do not fight the storm. Understand it." The voice wasn't human, yet it carried a strange familiarity, like it spoke directly to their minds. Rena closed her eyes, trying to calm her breathing. "It's not an attack," she said slowly. "It's a message. It wants us to feel it, not fight it." She eased her hands off the controls, letting the ship drift. Instantly, the turbulence lessened. The violent shaking softened into a smooth current of energy, as if the storm itself had accepted their surrender. Jax looked at her, wide-eyed. You did it. It stopped fighting us." Rena nodded slowly. "No. We stopped fighting it. That's what they wanted us to learn." The storm began to part. Ahead of them, a massive structure emerged from the swirling clouds, a colossal sphere of light and metal, floating in the heart of the Forbidden Zone. It was larger than any planet they'd ever seen, its surface covered in glowing lines like veins. Kara's voice crackled through faint communication static back at Space Command. "We're detecting something huge. It's not natural." "What are you seeing?" Rena stared in awe. "Something ancient. Like a machine built by gods." Their ship approached the structure. At its center, an enormous gate pulsed with light, and symbols appeared, human symbols. The same letters and numbers Earth used, as if whoever built it already knew humanity would one day arrive. Jax whispered, "Captain, this isn't alien. This was made by us." The words struck everyone silent. Could it be true? Could humans have built something this powerful long before recorded history? Then the voice returned, calm and cold. "The test is not over. Knowledge requires sacrifice." Before Rena could react, the ship's systems shut down. The lights flickered, and a strange blue mist filled the cabin. It moved like smoke, but it wasn't air. It passed through their suits, through their bodies. Jax gasped. What's happening?" Rena felt her heartbeat slow. The mist wasn't harming them, it was showing them something. Images flashed in their minds, cities floating above stars, human fleets exploring galaxies, then collapsing into silence as something vast and unseen consumed them. Then came the final image, a fleet of golden ships fleeing toward Earth. One ship looked exactly like the one they had found in the Forbidden Zone. Rena understood now. This ship, it's one of them. A relic from when humanity ruled the stars. The Forbidden Zone isn't a prison, it's a graveyard. The mist cleared, and the voice spoke again. "You now know the truth. But can you bear the cost?" The storm outside began to close in again, violent and angry. The ship trembled as power returned to the consoles. Jax's hands flew over the controls. "We need to get out. The energy readings are spiking." Rena nodded, gripping her seat. "Set a course back to Space Command. Whatever this is, they need to know." As the engines roared, the holographic figure appeared one last time, flickering above the controls. Its expression was calm but sad. "You cannot return unchanged. Knowledge always demands something in return." Before Rena could ask what it meant, a bright flash erupted from the core of the storm. The entire ship was engulfed in light. Alarms screamed. Jax shouted something, but the sound was drowned in a thunderous roar. Then, silence. Back at Space Command, Kara stood frozen before her screen. "Commander," she whispered. "The ship, it's gone." Commander Hale's face was pale. "Gone? You mean destroyed?" Kara hesitated, then pointed to her monitor. "No, sir. Not destroyed. Just vanished." No explosion, no debris. It's like it was never there. The room fell silent. For a long moment, only the hum of computers filled the air. Hale's voice was barely a whisper. Then they've crossed into something we can't follow. Far beyond the forbidden zone, deep within the storm, a single light flickered, small but alive. The ship was still there, drifting in another layer of reality. Inside, Rena slowly opened her eyes. The blue mist was gone, replaced by calm silence. She looked outside. The stars were different, strange, unfamiliar, yet breathtakingly beautiful. Jax stirred beside her. "Captain, where are we?" Rena stared at the horizon. "I don't know," she said softly. "But I think we're not in our universe anymore." And as the light of distant stars reflected on their faces, a soft voice echoed through the ship one last time. "Welcome to the domain of the Watchers." Captain Rena Vallis opened her eyes to silence. The shaking was gone. The roar of the storm had faded into a quiet hum. Around her, the control room glowed softly, bathed in a golden light that felt alive. Jax was the first to speak. "Captain, look outside." Rena turned toward the viewport, and froze. The ship floated in a vast sea of light. Stars stretched endlessly, but they weren't normal stars. These burned in perfect geometric patterns, forming vast spirals, lines, and symbols that looked almost written across the sky. Massive structures drifted between them. Not ships, not planets, but something in between. Floating citadels of silver and gold, each glowing with the same pulse as the ship's engines. It was beautiful. And terrifying. "Where are we?" Jax whispered, his voice trembling with awe. Before Rena could answer, the ship's AI activated itself, speaking in the same calm tone as before. "Welcome to the domain of the Watchers. This is where the first humans ascended. Few return." The words sent chills through the crew. Rena gripped the console tightly. The first humans. What does that mean? The AI didn't reply. Instead, the ship began to move on its own, gliding silently toward one of the massive floating citadels. The closer they came, the more details they could see. Towers rising into infinity, bridges of energy connecting vast domes, and enormous humanoid statues carved from light itself. As they approached the landing platform, the ship slowed to a perfect stop. The ramp extended automatically. Jax swallowed hard. "Are we really going out there?" Rena nodded. "We've come this far. We can't stop now." They stepped out, and the air felt different, heavy, ancient, as if it carried the weight of time itself. The platform beneath their boots shimmered faintly, alive with energy. Suddenly, a figure appeared in front of them, tall, glowing, and unmistakably human in form, though its face was made of light. It spoke with a calm, deep voice that echoed all around. "You have crossed the boundary between what was and what will be. You stand where your ancestors once stood." Rena took a cautious step forward. "Who are you?" The figure's eyes glowed brighter. "We are the Watchers, guardians of human legacy. We were once flesh, like you. But we evolved beyond death, beyond time. We became keepers of knowledge, protectors of the path humanity must one day reclaim." Jax stared, speechless. "You mean, humans built all this?" The Watcher nodded slowly. "Yes. Your kind was once vast, united among the stars. But fear and arrogance ended it. You destroyed yourselves and began again, forgetting who you were." Rena's heart pounded. The truth felt too big, too impossible. "Then why bring us here?" The Watcher raised a hand, and a vision appeared, a projection of Earth, surrounded by hundreds of glowing beacons. "Your world stands at a threshold again. You are advancing fast, faster than we expected. We needed to know if your species had learned, or if you would repeat the same mistakes." Rena took a step closer. "And what do you think?" The Watcher's expression dimmed slightly. "You still fight. You still fear what you don't understand. But you also hope. And that hope is why you were allowed to reach us. A long silence filled the air. The energy of the citadel seemed to vibrate softly around them, like a living heartbeat. Then the watcher continued, his tone quieter. But knowledge is not free. To return home, one of you must stay. The ship cannot leave unless a mind remains to guide it through the rift. Jax's face went pale. Stay. You mean, someone has to die? The watcher shook his head. Not die. Transform. Become part of the ship. Part of the watcher's network. A bridge between your world and ours. Rena's chest tightened. She looked at her team, scared but loyal faces, people who had followed her through the impossible. She knew what she had to do. Then I'll stay, she said quietly. Jax's eyes widened. Captain, no. You can't. I'm the commander, she said firmly. I led us here. I'll finish it. The watcher stepped closer. You understand the weight of this choice? Rena nodded slowly. If this is what it takes for humanity to learn the truth, then yes. The watcher reached out, placing a glowing hand over her chest. Instantly, light flowed from his palm into her body. Her breath caught, and for a moment, she felt everything. The stars, the memories of ancient worlds, the heartbeat of humanity itself. Her eyes glowed gold as the watcher's energy merged with her mind. Jax stepped forward, shouting her name, but she only smiled faintly. Tell them. Tell Earth what we found. Tell them we're not alone, and we never were. The light consumed her completely, leaving only a faint echo of her voice. The ship systems came alive again, glowing brighter than before. The watcher turned to Jax and the others. She is one with us now. Through her, humanity will find its path once more. Jax lowered his head, tears in his eyes. She sacrificed everything. The watcher stepped back as the ship began to rise. Go now. Carry her message. The storm will open once more. But remember, the Forbidden Zone is not a prison. It is a reminder. When humanity forgets, it will call again. The light around the citadel flared, and the ship was pulled upward, back toward the swirling rift that led to their own universe. Jax looked one last time at the golden sky, whispering, Goodbye, Captain. The ship vanished into the light. And in the heart of the domain, Rena Vallis stood beside the watchers, her eyes glowing with new purpose. Humanity's time among the stars had ended once before, but this time, she would make sure they remembered. The ship burst out of the rift like a falling comet, trailing waves of golden light behind it. The void of the Forbidden Zone closed silently, leaving only darkness and the whisper of what had been. Inside the control room, Jax gasped for air. The alarms screamed for a moment, then faded. Systems flickered back to life, and the familiar stars of their own galaxy filled the viewport again. They were home. But the seat where Captain Rena Vallis had once sat was empty. Her name still glowed faintly on the command console, a ghostly reminder of the one who had stayed behind. Captain, we made it, Jax whispered, his voice shaking. We made it because of you. No one replied. The crew sat in silence, some crying, others staring blankly into space. Every one of them carried the same heavy thought. How would they ever explain what they had seen? Then, without warning, the ship's main screen came alive. A soft golden light filled the room, and Rena's voice echoed through the bridge. If you're hearing this, then you made it home. The crew froze. It wasn't a recording. Her voice sounded real, alive, like she was speaking from somewhere far beyond. I'm still here, the voice continued. Not as I was, but as something new. The Watchers showed me what humanity once was, and what it can still become. We were never meant to be trapped on one world. We were meant to build, explore, and protect. Jax's eyes filled with tears. She's still guiding us. Rena's voice grew softer. Tell Earth the truth. The Forbidden Zone isn't a curse, it's a mirror. It shows what happens when we forget who we are. Humanity must not repeat the same mistakes. Promise me that, Jax. Jax stepped forward, placing his hand on the glowing console. "I promise, Captain. I'll make sure they know." The light faded, and silence returned to the bridge. 3 weeks later, the Sol Vanguard entered orbit around Earth. The planet looked calm, peaceful, unaware of the storm that had almost consumed it. As the crew disembarked, they were met by fleets of drones, military ships, and endless questions from the Earth Council. No one believed their story at first, until they played the message. The moment Rena's voice echoed through the grand hall of the council, everything stopped. Her words carried power, truth. Even the most skeptical scientists could feel it. For the first time in centuries, the world was united in silence. The council ordered a deep space expedition to study the rift. Satellites were launched. Scanners reached farther than ever before. And though the Forbidden Zone remained closed, faint golden energy readings began to pulse where it had once been, like a heartbeat in the void. People began calling it the Captain's Star. Jax became the public voice of their return, telling their story across every colony and station. But no matter how many times he told it, he could never shake the memory of her final words, "We were meant to protect." Years passed. Humanity changed. The discovery of the Watchers forced scientists and philosophers to rewrite history. Wars slowed. Governments began to work together on projects far larger than themselves. And then, one night, Jax sat alone in the observation dome of the Sol Vanguard, now a museum ship orbiting the moon. The stars shimmered quietly. He thought about how small humanity still was, and how much Rena had given up to remind them who they could be. He whispered to the stars, "You did it, Captain. You woke them up." And then, the lights flickered. Jax blinked and leaned closer to the glass. A golden glow shimmered at the edge of the moon, faint at first, then brighter, pulsing in rhythm. He recognized it instantly. The same light they had seen in the domain. His heart raced. No, it can't be. The glow spread across the lunar surface, forming lines, symbols, words. Slowly, they resolved into a message, visible from orbit. "We are watching. Keep building." Tears filled Jax's eyes. He laughed softly, pressing his hand against the glass. "I knew you'd find a way back." Back on Earth, telescopes all over the world caught the same sight. News channels filled with images of the glowing message. For once, humanity didn't argue, didn't fight, didn't question. They just looked, and believed. Generations later, every child learned the story of the Sol Vanguard and the captain who spoke from the stars. The legend of the Forbidden Zone became more than myth, it became a promise. A promise that humanity would never again forget what it truly was. And deep beyond the stars, in the luminous domain of the Watchers, Rena Vallis stood on a platform of light, watching over the galaxy she once called home. Her new form shimmered faintly, human yet beyond human. The Watcher beside her turned and said, "They have seen your message. The path has begun." Rena smiled, her golden eyes reflecting Earth's distant glow. "Then our duty is not over. It's only beginning." She looked out toward the infinite dark, not with fear, but with quiet hope. Because for the first time in countless ages, humanity remembered. And the stars themselves seemed to whisper her name. Captain Rena Vallis, the light of humanity.